Good morning, everybody. I'm going to call the Legislative Committee to order for May 18th. Roll call, please.
Allen,
Allen present. Good morning.
Bates,
Bates here.
Brown,
On here.
Silva, Wallace,
Wallace here.
Strathman,
Strathman here.
Shepro,
Shepro here.
Kirog, Gums.
Who's present?
Silva is here.
So
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll take a motion to approve the minutes from April 2020.
Bates moves.
Bates moves, Brown seconds. Do we have any public comment? Seeing none, hearing none. Old business, legislative.
Madam Chairman, do you want to do a roll call on the minutes?
Oh, yes, thank you, Ms. Allen. I apologize. Roll call on the minutes, please.
Allen,
No. Allen, aye. No apology necessary.
Bates,
Aye.
Brown,
Yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Wallace,
Yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Gums.
Gums, yes. So no public comment. Under old business legislative update, there's a lot going on. Last month, I asked y'all to keep track of what's going to become law. If anything has come across your radar, please send it to me. I continue to ask folks to send me things. And to be honest with you, I'm not getting a lot. So I'm going to start begging and calling and hounding everyone for those issues so we can get this committee to where it needs to be. Ms. Strathman, do you have anything under legislative update that you want to share?
I don't have any specifics, no. We're seeing the end of a very busy session in Springfield, and there was a lot going on. That's all I'll say.
Good choice. Thank you. Under new business, we have the county's legislative agenda.
Also have this.
What I would like to do is start out by saying I had sent an email to all department heads, directors, and electeds. What the plan is we would like to create, just about every other county has a page that has their legislative agenda for each year. We do not have such a thing. So that's what we're trying to create. I have got, and Cheryl and I have both got these emails, limited responses. So we were kind of hoping to do a little generic legislative agenda today, but we don't have enough. So we're going to be hounding folks to get that so we can get it completed, and it will be completed by July. I would like it done by July so that we're ahead of the game instead of behind the game with all of the legislative issues. So having said that, I want to pull up, if Blair can pull up the Lake County, and I did, pardon me, I do have a handout. Do you have a handout, Madam Chair? I'd like it, please. Yes.
This Lake County thing is really impressive. Thank you for recommending it, Michelle.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. So this is, I mean, I went through and kind of Googled and got an idea for, I mean, you can pick 15 different counties and what they have going on, but this is a very beautiful and efficient design. And this is my vision for what we can have on our county page. If anybody has any more ideas, but until we get these legislative agendas, the responses from our county departments and our directors and our electives, we can't create this. So I'm going to need this committee to reach out to folks and have them send these emails to myself, the co-chair. Can we all do that? I'm cheering for you. All right.
Please. Yes, please.
Yes, please. Me and Cheryl go around and around about how we keep asking for these things. So also just to note, oftentimes we get things, Cheryl or I will get an email or something that's after the fact. And that's what we're trying to avoid here. We don't want to play catch up. We want to be ahead of this game coming up for the next session. So when we had our last presentation, Mr. Armstrong suggested that we do this prior to our legislative liaison. However, we've had some things happen and we're going to have a discussion about that because I think it's extremely important. Madam Chair, if you want to start that off, I think it's going to be a great conversation. Oh, hold on, guys.
Good morning. I've had the opportunity to speak and talk with, as you're well aware, several potential lobbyists for Kane County. And given the opportunity of working with the legislative committee and then eventually that opportunity will finally sit with the executive committee, I have put things on the back burner until the legislative committee put their agenda together, which is a document that Michelle just handed out to us all. However, an opportunity has come up that I believe that we should carefully consider. We already have it in the budget, so I don't have to ask for an increase in budget. But what I would like to get through this committee and then through executive is a consensus for approval. There is a lobbyist who has been working with the city of Aurora, who he's no longer employed with the city of Aurora. He has stepped down because of the gubernatorial race. He's the current lobbyist for the city of Elgin. He is the current lobbyist for Metro West. He knows Kane County incredibly well, has the full support of both parties. I've seen him in action. And he was also very instrumental in the background and helping us get the $17.5 million for Long Meadow Parkway. This is Dan Showman is his name. We have met because of financial concerns and restraints by the county, which is well appreciated. We've come up with a model working with different other countywide elected officials where this would be a shared cost. The county's portion, I'll cut to the chase on that, it's divided equally by the sheriff's department, the coroner's department, the state's attorney's department, and hopefully by the county board. Each department or entity would be paying $7,500 for Mr. Showman's services starting in June and ending in November as a trial. This, I think, is a perfect opportunity for one lobbyist to be able to work with all of us together, because what the sheriff does, we just heard in health department, is important. What is happening at the state's attorney's office is impactful to judicial public safety for funding. Let's just face it, we share. We're not silos working alone. And by working together, we can really have a robust legislative policy and opportunity to access additional funds for the county, access additional opportunities for the county, and have a bipartisan approach to advancing legislation that will enhance the county. So as I mentioned, last year, I asked for $25,000 to hire a lobbyist. You graciously granted that amount of money as a full board. It's in the budget. And this impact for just The board would be $7,500. The contract would terminate at the end of November, and we can renew if we so wish.
Madam Chair, I appreciate all of that. When Mr. Shulman resigned from the city of Aurora, it's been maybe a month and a half ago, I instantly thought, oh, he's done great things for the city of Aurora. If you're familiar, I don't know him personally, but I know what he's done. And I thought instantly that it would be a great catch. And then it was brought forth, so great minds think alike, I guess. But I personally feel that this is an opportunity, if you're not sure about having a lobbyist, what a perfect opportunity for a trial run. Let's see what he can do. And I think this is my personal opinion, and I've spoken to many of you. I think this is an absolute yes. So I would ask for consensus from this committee. Any questions?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Please. I think this is a great idea. And does this fulfill any obligations we have to go through a interview process and things like that? Like, when we did the solar panels, we had to put out an RFP. Do we have to put out an RFQ?
No, there's no RFP required for this one.
Okay, we can just hire him.
Yeah.
All right.
Madam Gums, comment?
Yes, go right ahead, Ms. Strathman.
I had a personal experience with Mr. Shulman in that when we were working on the internal request for the ARPA funds, I made an appointment to go down to talk to Elgin's Mayor Captain, who is a water guy. And that was my assignment with the ARPA, was to work with Jody Wolnick and Vern Tepe and talk about the water in the county and the future situations. And Mr. Shulman went with me, and he was wonderful. As the new kid on the block, he helped guide me through that process. He was very gracious, very knowledgeable. And it was, I'm sure that is the way that's the way he operates. It was a very positive experience. And I agree that this is just an opportunity that can't be overlooked.
What's your quick take
Mr.
on
Brown.
if we're considering hiring?
Brown speaking. I think it's a good opportunity. I think it's a great exercise to see how well it all works out at a very little cost. My question would be, though, since we're going to be splitting the cost 4 ways, sheriff, coroner, state's attorney, county board, I'm assuming he's going to be working directly with the sheriff, directly with the coroner, and directly with the state's attorney. Who would he work with the county board? Would that be the chairman of this committee or Madam Chair? And I don't have a preference either way. I just want to know.
So Ms. Strathman and I had a conversation, and I've had a conversation also. I'm of the opinion that he would report to the legislative committee monthly with a report. If there's a legislative issue that needs to be addressed, he would report to the chair. If the chair is unavailable, and we sent the emails about how we think this should happen. If the the Madam Chair is unavailable, then it would come to one of the co-chairs of legislative. But I believe that being a legislative lobbyist, they should report to the legislative committee.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. And again, for the minor cost of $7,500, the flow pattern and the flow chart that you just explained, we're going to see how well that works out.
Excellent.
Question, Shepro?
Mr. Shepro, go right ahead. Good to see you,
Okay,
by the way.
Thank you. The compensation package, what would the total compensation package be for Dan from now to the end of November?
30,000. 30,000.
Yeah,
30,000
from off, yeah.
Okay, so going forward and prorating that for a full session, I assume that's going to exceed the amount that's currently in the budget.
Well, I mean, I would assume so.
Okay.
Madam
clarify-
Chair. if you
I'm
could-
sorry to interrupt.
No, go right ahead.
Clarify, what budget are we looking at? This year's budget 22?
Any budget. I mean, presumably this is not a one-off.
So if,
But I-
if it were looking at 23, then we would have to increase that to 15,000. If all things are equal. But that'll be something that we'll have to talk to him about. I can't speak to that because I only have the proposal, the trial proposal for this year.
When you say increase, the county board share would be,
Correct. But that is truly, Mr. Shepherd, truly an estimate. We have not
Okay.
seen his proposal for next year.
and when we talk about sharing, this is within our departments. That is to say, this is not a joint project with the other clients that Mr. Shulman has.
No, this is just for Kane County.
Okay. I just wanted to report that as this meeting has proceeded, I reached out to a couple of my Republican legislative contacts, and you could not, in the sentence or two I got, get any higher praise than he received. Just everything that's already been said. He's responsive. He's knows how to get things done, and I would certainly enthusiastically support bringing him on board.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That means a great deal to me.
Dave, please.
Madam Bates, go ahead.
Is this a hourly deal? Like, do we get 5 hours a week or 10 or?
It is spelled out in here. Madam Chair, I don't know if you want to.
This is not an hourly rate. This is a professional. So he's not billing hourly.
Okay.
It's a
I didn't mean billing hourly. I meant, is there an agreement that we would get 5 hours a week of his time or 10 hours a week?
He's a professional.
I think you get whatever
Is
he
needed at the
thinks we
time?
need. I think you get whatever he thinks he need. That could be intense. And it could be,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing that there's going to be there's not going to be a lot of legislative business in July, but then you've got veto session, you've got ongoing things. Also, to the point that was raised earlier, because this is a professional services contract, bidding and so forth does not apply. And it's really a matter for the board to decide how they want to
Okay.
go about it. And, but I would say, you hear about low hanging fruit. When the fruit drops into your lap, you probably
Right.
just want to take it.
Question, please.
Agreed.
You have a proposal from Dan? Do we have a copy
Yes.
of that? Did we get that?
Well, yes, but I would like to bring it to executive committee because it is truly their consensus that I need. So when that happens, when we meet as an executive committee, I'd like to present that contract at that point and it'll be included. But I need it to go through consensus now to bring it forward.
So we would ask for consensus from this committee to send it to exec.
That's correct.
Without seeing the proposal?
Well, you can see it if you like.
Well, the committee, I think, is being asked to weigh in on the concept
Yes.
and not the specifics of the contract. Is that
That is
correct?
correct.
That is correct.
The general tenure of it.
Okay.
So do we have any in
Madam
opposition?
Chairman?
Oh, Miss Allen, go right ahead.
Thanks. I wanted to jump in too. This is brilliant. This is just a great way to get a toe in the water. And from what you guys are saying, this guy is family. I have said in previous committees that I would have no hesitation in hiring Madam Chairman or Mark Armstrong or Mr. Pollock from the clerk's office if they would be willing to be our liaison. And this gentleman sounds like he falls right into that same category. Can I ask, Madam Chairman, when you made your sprint down to Springfield to get us all that money, did you by any chance ask his advice on how to accomplish as much as possible when you made that trip? Was he able to, have you already had some experience working with him?
I
If
did.
you're allowed to talk about it.
I'm sorry. Yes, I have. He was very helpful and his fellow partner or associate, it's truly his associate, whose last name is, or first name is Corinne. So it's, yeah, that was quite funny. And both, she's also from, hails from Huntington Beach, California, where I went to high school. It's a very small world. But I- she was very helpful in setting up appointments. They have such an in-depth knowledge of Springfield that they guided our path. Dan and Corinne guided our path, and I was incredibly grateful for that.
We are all grateful for that. Good to hear. Thank you.
Ms. Bates.
Yeah, I'm definitely in favor of this. I'm trying to figure out the details. So I think it's great.
Okay, excellent.
I think that the details will follow, and I believe we'll all have a chance to weigh in on the specifics. I mean, I have some questions too, but I think for today, what's being asked of us is, do we like the concept and the individual? And I think the answer is yes.
Well, seeing no opposition to it, I'm going to go ahead and conclude that we have consensus to send this through to executive.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. It's literally an amazing catch as far as I'm concerned. I think I'm optimistic. And I want to go back a little bit to our legislative agenda because I think Mr. Showman can help us with that once we get the responses from our electeds and our directors, which we've gotten a few, but not enough. But I would love for our page to be beautiful and better than Lake County's. And I have no doubt that we can do that. So I hope everybody on this committee can help me actively get our short-term and long-term goals here so we can do it and get it done and finalized by July. We're getting it done by July, FYI. Ms. Bates.
Madam Chairman Allen again.
Oh, Miss Allen, go ahead.
Anita Lewis in Public Health this morning mentioned something that I wondered if that would fit into what we're concerned about. She said that because of COVID, patients who needed to get controlled substances were allowed to use something called telehealth, which meant that they could get their drugs safely and timely. But that is going to disappear at some point when it's decided that COVID is no longer as big a threat. And so I was wondering, is that something we would want to investigate and try to encourage to be continuously available? Maybe somebody knows more about this than I do. Anita certainly knows a little bit more.
I think that's federal, isn't it?
I'm sorry, Mr. Shepro.
I'm sorry for interrupting.
No,
Isn't that a federal, not that that's beyond the reach of this committee, but my understanding is that relates to the national policy with respect to, the tele-prescription, not something that would be a General Assembly issue.
it certainly is a federal issue, but we also have our fingers in federal
Right.
ears. So, but we do have Miss Lewis here, and I did walk in at the end of that and totally understand that.
Yeah.
So if you would like to.
So,
Ms. Lewis.
It is definitely a federal thing, but also, as we well know, the states also do their own thing. And Florida actually just passed their own ordinance saying that they will continue to do telehealth even for controlled substances with, some specific rules around it. So it's both, kind of like so many other issues that we're dealing with right now. There's a federal portion to it, and then there's state stuff too. So absolutely.
And then this is Gums again. So that telehealth legislation touches the sheriff's department, the coroner's office, the county board, the state's attorney's office. So Dan might be our man here to help us with that. But it's extremely important. And, I apologize for not catching the beginning of that meeting, but I did want to comment on that legislative specifically because I have history with drug addiction and substance abuse in my family. So I'm very well aware of what has taken place since the restrictions on narcotics. So we have an entire group of people that got addicted to this pain medication back in 2006, 8, whatever year it was. And then they took it away from them And so now we have a group of 40s, 50-year-old folks that are overdosing on illegal fentanyl drugs. And there's data to prove that. So, I mean, this is obviously a huge topic for us. It's a huge topic for our coroner, and it's a personal issue for me. So I think what I'd ask Ms. Lewis to do is send me an email as a short-term goal.
Absolutely.
All right, excellent. Ms. Bates.
Please. So when we're trying to write an agenda, our legislative agenda, I think it's hard to just go, what do I want? You know, I came up with that single-use plastics because, you know, that's been on the list for a long time. So I just had an idea that we could start with the 2040 plan, Kane County 2040 plan, and start flipping through, you and I could do this, or somebody could do this, flip through the 2040 plan, which is one of my favorite light reading, and see where, or we could talk to people like the departments and say, what is in the 2040 plan? What gaps are in our 2040 plan because we are missing the legislation that we need to do this? And that could be a more systematic, or even if you flip through the tabs in the 2040 plan, it's housing, it's water.
Davis, are you talking about the land use plan?
2040 plan, Kane County 2040 plan.
We have lots of 2040 plans. It is.
No, this is the 2040
The
plan.
master plan?
Uh,
I don't know which one.
Regardless,
Regardless, I think.
It is the land use plan. You're accurate with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
It's not in the title. Okay.
I guess getting to the point is that'll be a comprehensive when we draw this. Yes, that's part of the process.
So maybe you and I
So we
could work on
certainly-
that. and-
Now, also, having said that, this is why I'm asking our department directors and our electeds who engage with them to have them send us what we need. They're smarter on this stuff than I am, and I've gotten some very good things back. And we're going to utilize those when we do our beautiful, lovely, wonderful legislative agenda. So yes, that'll be part of the process. And this committee will be engaged, all of us, hopefully, to make it beautiful together.
Madam Chairman, Alan again.
Yes, Ms. Allen, go right ahead.
This, I don't know if I'm, drilling in the weeds too much, but here's something that's bothered me in Elgin for a long time. Apparently the plumbers of the world have gathered themselves together to resist allowing rainwater on a building to be used in toilets. It's a way of taking a free resource that doesn't have to be treated and using it in a place where people are not going to drink it, so you don't have to worry. And it just seems to me that that's something that would be worth our efforts. It's just a no-brainer, but there are people who feel that would get in the way of their earning a living, and so they have been able to overrule common sense. Can we try and figure a way to work that in?
Certainly.
That sounds like a great assignment for Ms. Bates' committee.
Yeah, that's called gray water.
Yeah. Excellent. Yes.
Great, yeah, that it helps to have a term. You're absolutely right. Thank you.
Now we're cooking with fire. People are talking finally. So I don't have anything else. I don't know if anybody else have any questions or comments.
I have
Again,
a
I'm going to
comment.
ask.
I have a
Mr.
comment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, while I was gone, I came back and I looked at the newspaper headline, and I was amused to see that DuPage County has discovered that they aren't getting their marijuana tax revenue.
Oh, no.
I don't know if you saw that. Yeah, they apparently never filed their ordinance. Does that sound familiar?
It does. Well done, Legislative Committee in Kane County.
Well,
Sorry,
I was
DuPage.
I was just so amused that after all the hoo-ha attending our problem, that somebody there wouldn't have called up and said, hey, by the way, are we okay? Apparently, they just discovered after 15 months a shortfall in their revenue estimates, and discovered it's because they hadn't gotten any. So
Wow.
I just, kudos to all of you who worked so hard to get the legislation through to correct our former chairman's mistake. But I just thought it was a fascinating, reprise of what happened to us.
That is funny. Madam Chair, go right ahead.
As a follow-up to that, thank you for bringing that up. We really have to be very grateful to our state senators up north who, especially Christina Castro, who championed this for us and brought together all of the other state legislators, both through the House as well as through the Senate, to support this. And it was a special amendment to a bill that they were able to get it in. And it was well supported by many, many people. But there were very few dissenters, and those dissenters were primarily down in Southern Illinois. But it was overwhelming majority of vote. So this is something that DuPage is going to have to wrangle with.
Yes, I
I
agree.
think we should send them a bill.
We'll walk them through it. A lot of phone hours went into that fix, but we got it done. So well done. And Mr.
Thank you
Brown,
for,
Mr. Brown moves that we adjourn.
Shepro seconds.
Shepro seconds. All in favor?
aye.
I.
Aye. Excellent, guys. Thank you so much.